one of my cities. My city of New Orleans. It is iconic. The whole world knows it. I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again because it illustrates my point. My first job in government was with a reform governor called Governor Buddy Romer. That was at a time when Japan and its economy, it's still strong today, but it was rising high and looking good back in the late 80s. Governor Romer decided to take a trip to Japan to try to entice our Japanese friends to come invest in Louisiana. And Governor Romer came back and he said, "Kennedy, you'll never believe what happened to me." I said, "Tell me about it, Governor." He said, "My first meeting, I was meeting with 50 Japanese business people." He said, "I thought I'd break the ice." So I asked all of them, "How many of you have been to Louisiana?" And Governor Romer said, 3 or 4 people raised their hand. So then he turned to this group of 50 Japanese business people and said, "Okay, second question. How many of you have been to New Orleans?" He said 25 people raised their hand. And my point, of course, is that New Orleans is special. Special to the world, special to America, special to me. I used to live there, my son was raised there for a while, met my wife there. Every state and country in the world would love to have a New Orleans. We're 300 years old. We were founded in 1718. We're envied for our food, our music, our architecture, our diversity, our dialects, our merriment, our festivals, our celebration of life. People in New Orleans dance with the music on and without. It's a special city. But my city, Madam President, has hit a rough patch. Crime is strangling a free people. Nowhere more than the city of New Orleans. I regret to say this, but it is safer to walk down the streets of Mogadishu than it is some of the streets in my city of New Orleans. I know others are having a crime problem. Doesn't make me feel any bit better. Last year, New Orleans was the murder capital of the world. We had 265 people murdered. That's double since 2019. And that doesn't include the burglaries and the carjackings and the break-ins and the thefts and the other crimes of violence, the rapes, the property crimes. Our 9/11 program is a mess. We're trying to deal with this. But we're not just taking it lying down, Madam President. We're right now looking for a new police chief. And we need a good one. We need a tried and tested police chief who has experience in a big city. And we're in the process of picking a police chief. Now, our mayor, who has 2 more years on her term, is in charge of picking the police chief. Our new police chief has to be confirmed by our city council. But more importantly than our city council, as important as our city council is, our new police chief has to have the confidence of the people in Louisiana and the good people in New Orleans. Our mayor, as is her right, has decided to handle the selection of a new police chief herself. She has appointed an outside third-party group to quarterback the selection of a new police chief. That outside third-party group says it has done a nationwide search. It had 33 applicants for police chief. Apparently, we don't know this for a fact, Most of them were not interviewed. 6 were. And that's all we know. That's all we know. One of the most important, maybe the most important selection in municipal government in the last decade in New Orleans. Our mayor has shared nothing else with us. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Now, to her credit, our mayor has been asked why. And by the way, that includes our city council. You would think, since the city council has to confirm the new police chief, that our city council would have been brought in from day one. But our mayor decided not to do that. At a press conference on July 5th, our mayor was asked about this secrecy. And here's what she said. I'm going to quote our mayor, for whom I have great respect, because I certainly don't want to put words in her mouth. This is what she told the press. Quote, to the press, I have to say you all have a great way of doing that to people. You know you damage people, even though you try to say you're doing it fairly. That's not what I want. The mayor goes on to say to the press, I don't want to do that for those who look at New Orleans as a place that they want to come and serve. And I definitely do not want to do that for men and women that have responded who are currently serving. Now, look, I get it. I know all about the gifts and the gaps of our news media. We have an opinion. But you don't have to like or dislike a free press to serve your people. And I can assure you right now in New Orleans, parts of which look like a scene out of Mad Max, that the people of New Orleans are vitally interested, not just the press, in who our new police chief will be. Our mayor has two years left to serve. It's going to be a challenge to get a police chief to come to New Orleans and serve for 2 years. Uproot wherever she or he is, come to New Orleans for 2 years with no guarantee that a new mayor will reappoint that new police chief. So it's going to be a challenge to begin with. On top of that, we all in New Orleans have a lot of questions about crime in our city and our new police chief. I just jotted down a few. We want to know if our new police chief believes in broken windows law enforcement. We want to know if our new police chief, how she or he is going to increase police response times. We've got great cops in New Orleans. Their morale is low. We don't have nearly enough of them. But their response times have tripled in 3 years. I'm not blaming it on them, but it's a problem. In picking a new police chief, we want to know our new police chief's opinion about whether we have enough investigators, about the federal consent decree that we're under. Has it helped? Has it hurt? Is it time to ask to get out from under it? We want to know if our new program called Ethical Policing is Courageous is working. We launched it with high hopes. Is it working? What does our new police chief think about it? We want to know what our new police chief thinks about our Adopt-A-Block program. Is it working? We want to know our police chief's opinion about whether police officers, we're trying hard to recruit them, but we're losing them. We've lost 20% in the last 2 years. We want to know how our new police chief feels about requiring or not requiring police officers to live in the city. Can they live outside in the suburbs? We want to know what our new police chief thinks about computer analytics and camera technology and facial recognition technology, and I can keep going. These are all fair questions, and it's not just the press asking, even though the press is entitled to ask. It's the people of New Orleans because they're scared, because they love our city, because they think it's worth fighting for, because they want justice, but they understand without order there can be no justice. So, Madam President, I say to my mayor of New Orleans, with all the respect I can muster, please, Mayor, please, Mayor, please, with sugar on top, call a press conference. Tell us who has applied. Tell us who didn't make the cut. Tell us why they didn't make the cut. Tell us the criteria that you and your team used without an interview to eliminate them. Tell us who the 6 remaining semifinalists are. Give us their names. Let us hear from them. Give us time to look at their record. Give us time to ask fair but tough questions. Let's make this decision together, because we're all going to have to live with it. Please, Mayor, please reconsider your position. Let's do this together.